You're checking the boxes. You're preparing, responding, and managing. Most of us operate on the assumption that if we just refine our effort enough, the sense of urgency will eventually subside. But for many, the to-do list gets shorter while the internal pressure stays exactly the same. The effort is there, but the baseline isn't moving. This is the somatic evidence of that disconnect. Adrenaline buzzing in the limbs, breath shallow in the chest, a constant contracted vigilance that persists regardless of how much you've actually accomplished. And that baseline is failing. Now that external intelligence is outpacing human processing power, trying to outthink your circumstances is a losing game. The volume of modern data has made thinking harder a tool that no longer leads to stability. We tend to view this persistent exhaustion as a moral failure or a permanent part of our personality. We say, "I am failing," rather than "I feel fear." But if we look at the patterns of these feelings, they behave less like identity traits and more like temporary geographic locations we pass through. Once you see that the stress is a location and not your identity, the assignment changes. The goal is no longer trying to fix who you are. The goal is simply identifying where you are. This map shows 5 non-hierarchical states. Look at the highlighted zone. Foundation. The illusion is, if I fix enough, I'll finally relax. Foundation builds competence and relief, but hits a perimeter. It cannot produce peace, operating without the signal that lets experience organize differently. You know you are here when the behavioral markers show up. You are overfunctioning. You are caretaking, explaining yourself excessively. You find yourself engaging in emotional bargaining, telling yourself that if you plan harder, maybe then you will feel safe. Spending your entire life in foundation traps you in a loop of performance. You are forced to constantly project functionality to survive the pressure, while the part of your awareness that actually feels the world slowly disconnects to stay safe. This animation shows the second state, source. It sits directly beneath the noise. It is a vast, quiet field of awareness that has always been present, the stillness before thought even begins. Your body knows what this feels like. The internal commentary drops to zero. Your breath becomes slow and full. You are no longer narrating your experience, and time feels either expanded or completely irrelevant. Accessing this stillness is not a permanent achievement. Touching source doesn't mean you live there now. When pressure hits, the old patterns will pull you right back into foundation. That is not a failure. It's just the threshold of the next state. This split view diagram illustrates the third state, witness. This is the crucial bridge where dual awareness begins. You are living inside a stressful experience, and you are watching it happen at the exact same time, both at once. In witness, you can track your own state mid-conflict. Your reactions are still running, but they are no longer the only thing in the room. Emotions begin to feel like data to read, rather than absolute verdicts on your worth. The risk here is confusing this with detachment. Using observation to avoid feeling is still just foundation in a calmer outfit. True witness is a container that includes the raw feeling right alongside the observation. Cultivating witness means processing high-stress data without your core identity collapsing. The experience happens, you see it, but you are no longer trapped inside it. The fourth state is heart. This is where dual awareness becomes stable. It becomes strong enough that the observer no longer disappears when a difficult experience hits you. This illustration represents the capacity of the heart state. Two opposing realities held in equilibrium. You can love someone fiercely and hold a boundary at the same time. You can feel deep grief and maintain your humor. Both are true. You hold them without demanding a resolution. This is not the quiet of numbness. Foundation goes quiet because feeling the full weight of something would make it impossible to keep moving. Heart goes quiet because it is stable enough to include the full weight of the ache. Behavior shifts dramatically here. You start executing repairs with people without needing to control the outcome. The cycle of self-justification stops. You respond to the moment instead of reacting to your fear. By developing the capacity to tolerate ambiguity, We stop demanding the world resolve our discomfort. We stop waiting for the fix. We finally become capable of participating in our actual lives as they are. The final state is integrated. This is not a finish line to cross or a state you protect. It is a stable relationship across all 5 zones. Look at the map again. The defining characteristic of integration is fluidity. When circumstances push you back into the stress of foundation, you no longer view it as a personal failure. A contracted moment is just another location on the map. You find yourself holding boundaries without the body bracing for impact. There is no adrenaline spike, just clarity. In this state, a difficult interaction isn't a threat to your safety. It's the contrast that shows you what you actually value. The friction reveals the shape of the life you're building. And the ceiling here? There isn't one. Integration has no top rung. It is simply the recognition that the entire map is yours, and you don't have to earn your way into any part of it. True internal stability in the modern era doesn't require escaping difficult experiences. It rests on a single recognition that the state is not the self. Where you are is never who you are.